lot of people have hobbies like fishing, gardening, or maybe cooking, but there's a growing number of people who are tapping into a different kind of activity: beer.
That's right, homemade brew. In tonight's Eye on Kettleland, we're going to give you a small taste of how popular this hobby full of hops has become. Welcome to Orange Cat Brewery. Well, it's not actually a brewery. It's just the name for Nick Langle's hobby.
I've been brewing beer for about 3 years now, and brewed over 50 different beers, from IPAs, stouts, red ales, and basically you name it.
And it shows. What you see on top of his cupboards are the different types of beers that Langle has brewed, bottled, and named.
My favorite would probably be the Cliffhanger IPA. My best friend, his name was Cliff. He's a huge outdoors guy, and so we figured that Cliffhanger, so we were like, that's a fun name, play on names.
Langle says one of the best things about brewing your own beer is coming up with unique names, like this one, named after his cat Mango. It's Mango the Menace. And of course, we like reporter involvement in every story, so here goes.
Cheers. What do you think?
Hey, it's good. A toast to Mango the cat, the inspiration behind the beer, and the fictitious company logo. Langle refers to Mango as his playful intern. Legally, Langle can't sell his homemade beer, but he loves making it and drinking it with family and friends who also like to brew beer.
We come up with a recipe, and we come up with the name behind the beer and what kind of story we want to tell with this beer. And so that way, when we're done and we can actually enjoy the beer, we're sitting around a campfire or on the deck, we can talk about how we created this and how we actually added in the hops and how we had our friends and family involved with the process of making beer.
They've even started their own club called the Home Brew Club that now has about 30 members. Langle says brewing your own beer isn't that hard. You get a kettle like this one, fill it with water, and add grains, hops, and other ingredients, and boil it.
You're extracting all the sugar out of those grains, which makes the beer and the flavor. So you're extracting caramel, vanilla notes, depending on your style of beer.
From there, you transfer the unfinished product to a 5-gallon pail and let it ferment.
It's not as complex as people think, so it's actually a really fun and semi-easy hobby to get into.
We've seen the renaissance of craft beers, and I think that it's still, it's still climbing.
Heather Taylor has been selling everything a person needs to get started. The kettles, the bottles, the caps, and of course, the ingredients.
We have new hobbyists that are getting into making their own beer. In fact, a lot of the breweries that are in Sioux Falls and around Sioux Falls, those folks started here at my store buying product and equipment from me and learning how to brew beer out of their garage.
Taylor sells about 20 to 30 different kinds of flavors just in the kits. But if a person becomes more familiar with the brewing process, they can come up with their own recipes, adding all the grains and spices that she sells too.
Well, I think it's just kind of one of those trial and error situations. When you first get started, you might make some mistakes, but we're here to help. And there's a lot of community, online, social support for the people who are learning.
Like Langle, who admits when you're brewing beer, you never stop learning.
For somebody that's starting out, I would say do some research, get a part of the Homebrew Club, the Big Sioux Brewing Society. Come to some of our meetings. You'll be able to learn about recipes, great ways to get started that way, and you make a lot of new friends and learn about the home brewing setup that way.
And if you'd like to start brewing your own beer, we provided a couple of links to the Home Brew Club and also the Big Sioux Brewing Society.
And those are some good friends to have, friends who brew beer.
Yeah, I used to brew my own beer in the basement. Yeah, I called it Jorgie's Bad Brew.
Okay, the naming is fun. He was really creative.
Very creative, yeah.
Well, the Sanford International